the mix. Mixx with Richiemixx.
It's your boy Richiemixx, you already know. But to start off the podcast, I wanted to just address something. I don't know necessarily when I'm going to be posting these. I don't know if I'm going to do it once a week. I mean, that's what I'm going to try to do. But just because of the way that scheduling works and free time, because, you know, I work, I go to school, so I don't know necessarily when I'll be free to do them, but I'm going to try to do every week. And also, like I said in the last episode, this episode is going to be different. It's not going to be a topic video. Well, let's just get in the mix.
Yo, watch this. My boy Nick Cannon is so petty.
How petty is he?
He couldn't get Cardi B, so he got Azealia ugly ass.
Wait a minute. That's not fair. Go ahead, Bobby J.
Sorry, can I just say that was very anti-black? We are not, no colorism here on this
Get him
stage.
back.
Alright, so y'all probably heard about like the whole Azealia Banks thing on Wild 'N Out, but the episode just recently dropped. I'm not sure if it was today or yesterday. I feel as though she was being like overly sensitive about everything from the jump, because alright, she said on like Twitter that like she didn't want to be in the Wild style. She didn't want to really interact. She just wanted to perform at the end. And like some people do that, like I've peeped that on Wild 'N Out. But if something do come their way, they're like prepared and they're like, you know, they still play along. Like off the bat, like we just heard in that clip, DC Young Fly, like, you know, she said that thing about Cardi B, because, you know, she been calling out Cardi B for however long. But then she want to bring in colorism like she does in her tweets, and it's just like pressing a bigger issue when she could have just played along, laughed, kept it moving. And that's what happened throughout the whole episode. And like she started getting sensitive. Like it got to the point where like Nick was trying to save her. Like you heard in the clip, he said, get him back. And it's like, why even go on the show? Like, you know what they do on the show, so if you're that sensitive, it's just like, why? But matter of fact, even that aspect, because she called everybody out on Twitter and like she always going off, so you would have thought that she would have said something better, or like she would have had like a faster comeback than bringing up like societal issues about like, oh, that's colorism or whatever. And then I don't know like some of the new cats on Wild 'N Out, but it was this one dude, he said something about how, matter of fact, I think I can remember it. He was like, she's so petty that she called Cardi B the day after the pregnancy and saying congratulations on being a single parent. And that's when she's like, that's not funny, let the girl be. It just took all the fun out of the show. That show was like cringeworthy to even like watch. I feel as though this could have been like Azalea's like big chance to like stand out, because I've never even heard of one of her songs, I don't think. And even the song that she performed at the end, it just wasn't it. It wasn't. Like, you had everybody, like, including Yachty, including, like, everybody on the show, just, like, mocking her, like, doing, like, the voguing and everything at the very end of the show. And I feel as though that could have been, like, her time to shine. Like, the episode itself, like, if she would have played along and she would have been, like, nice and everything, the perception of her would have probably changed more, opposed to it being what it is now, like, some mean person who's always going at somebody and always doing this, doing that. But now you couple that with, oh, and then she can't take out what she give, then it's not a positive look for like the outside viewer, because like I said, most people probably haven't heard many of her songs. Most people just probably only see what they see on Twitter or like what she's always talking about. So this definitely didn't help her perception. Let's go on to our next show.
Look, right now you don't have enough money to move out on your own. If Daniel let you stay a little longer, you should. Don't look a gift horse in the dick.
That's not the same.
It is. My grandmother said it to me.
Alright, this show's Insecure. I don't know how many of y'all really watch it, but yeah, I like the show. I've been watching it. Well, I had to binge watch it in order to get caught up, like, at the very end of last season, because the way I see it, Insecure and Atlanta, they're kind of like the same show, just based in different areas, except one's with like a mostly female cast, one's with a mostly male cast, and then like you have like the creative as the main character, the creative being like Donald Glover or Issa Rae in this case. And yeah, I like the show. It's cool. But all right, let's get into the episode for real. All right, so basically here's the scenario. Issa is moving in with her ex named Daniel, and she finally wants to move out, but she's not financially stable enough to move out on her own. And she's asking Daniel if she could stay like a little bit longer, and he's like had enough of it, because like that's his ex, so he kind of wanted some cheeks, like low key, you feel me? But she wasn't trying to give him no cheeks. But they go to like this club, and he's trying to get this new artist because he's a producer, and she meets somebody there in which he's a better producer, or like a well-known producer, but they used to be cool. He gets a little jealous in a sense. At the end of the episode, he let her stay longer. Good episode, of course, you know. But that brings up the topic that I wanted to talk about. Alright, so you have an ex. What's your limitations on your ex? Because in the show, Daniel has another like shorty that like he's dealing with at the time, but he's still letting his ex, which is Issa, sleep on the couch. So what's your limitations to your ex when you're in a new relationship? Like, do you still communicate with your ex? What are you willing to do for your ex? Or like once y'all end your relationship, is it just, you know, is that dead? Like no talking, no communicating, no helping, none of that. Like, what is your relationship with your exes? I feel as though when you have an ex, you shouldn't necessarily be like texting them all the time or whatever, or communicating with them all the time. It shouldn't really be any communication. But depending on like the ex, you can still be there for them in certain ways. It depends on the relationship too, because if you were friends before the relationship and then friends after or whatever, cool. But like if it was strictly a relationship and then wasn't, then that's kind of a different standpoint or a different viewpoint that you add. It all depends on the relationship, honestly, because it's like, it's a lot of exes that like, if they needed somewhere to crash or whatever, I would never offer it. I'd be like, that's dead. Matter of fact, I had this one shorty, right? She hit my phone talking about can you send me something to eat? I'm like, what? Yo, like, dead. But yeah, I just find that interesting. To be honest, with y'all questions that y'all DM'd and everything, I didn't really incorporate it into this episode. Like, I'm thinking maybe like if y'all like keep sending questions and whatever, I'll just incorporate it into one big episode, and then it'll be like a Q&A episode or something like that. But yeah, I say that to say, answer that question. Like, what's your standpoint on communicating with your ex and helping your ex? So yeah, leave that in my DM at Richiemixx on Twitter and Instagram. All right, so now we're moving on to the next show. All right, this show is My Hero Academia. This is my first anime. I never watched Naruto, I never watched Dragon Ball Z, and I refuse to go back on all those episodes because that's just way too much. Like, it's 546 episodes of Dragon Ball Z that's in canon. In canon means like that actually counts towards the story, because everything that's not canon, it's not continuity, basically. But yeah, so it's my first anime. The only reason why like I actually started watching it is because it's this other podcast I listen to, and they was talking about it. I'm like, oh, it seemed cool for real, because like when you choose the people that you listen to or watch, like on YouTube or whatever, like wherever you find people, and like you get an understanding of who they are, and you think, oh, okay, they like some of the stuff that I like, you know, so on and so forth. Then you're like, okay, so like when they try to introduce you to new things, like whether it be a movie or like a book or something, you're more likely to trust it. So that's basically what happened with My Hero Academia for me. So I caught up. It was 3 seasons and blasted through it in like a week. Matter of fact, I ain't even gonna lie, it was like 2 weeks, but that's not important. Yeah, I like My Hero Academia. The best way I can describe it is, y'all know that movie Sky High that was on Disney Channel? Yeah, it's basically like that. You have like a school full of young people, and they have powers, and they're trying to be the best hero that they can be, and that's their aspirations, and that's like the whole journey towards the show. So that's the best way I can let y'all know what the show is really about. Like X-Men, if it was an alternate timeline, basically, that's what I'm gonna go with. But all right, so in this episode, they doing like the little rescue trials, like it's like a test, because all the people with powers, they're kind of training to be heroes, and they go to this school, and all the schools are going up against each other in a sense, and they're trying to get their license so that they can be superheroes. So you got Midoriya and all these other, well, Midoriya's the main character, aka Deku, and they just got to go through and rescue people as a test so that they can progress on to like the further trials and tribulations to be a hero. This episode was cool for them. Nothing happened that was like overwhelming or that really like stood out. Like, it was just small character moments, and it's really filler, honestly. But even when things don't happen in like My Hero Academia or in shows in general, it's still like the character moments that help you develop relationships with the characters. Like I said, follow me at Richiemixx on Twitter and Instagram. You can DM me questions, DM me your answers to the question I posed when we were talking about Insecure, and you're in the mix.
You're in the mix. Mixx with